that back calling me splurge. Ride me jump right off the curb. Bentley sprint fly like a bird. Spin on the first and the third. Solid, I'm keeping my word.
Everyone loves to hate on Winnipeg.
Crack up the phone, I swear. Keep me a stick if they
The Winnipeg crowd like surprised me too. They all show up and they all show out. Just seeing, everyone's hard work pay off.
My nerves, I'm about to pull some serve. Fucking this bitch like a perm. Smack from the back of a perm. Ice, the bird.
Well, this will be my first year playing in a Euro Cup.
Wait your turn. In my own lane we can't merge. So with no head you can learn. Let's see how much you can earn. Why me go big like the worm? And I ain't smoking no shern.
San Sebastian, Spain. Slovenia you played last year.
Right.
So you're heading to San Sebastian, Spain. How excited are you for that?
I'm very excited.
Have you been to Spain?
I've been to Spain for a tournament in 2017.
Yeah.
But basketball, you get to be in the court. You don't really get to see. So really no, but a little bit.
So you're coming off your first professional season in Slovenia, right?
Yeah.
How was that experience?
I liked it. I've heard the horror stories. I've heard the negatives. So I was really thankful for the situation I was put in. I thought it went pretty good.
What was the most surprising aspect of it?
Probably, everyone always says how much free time you have, but that was probably the most surprising. There was a couple months straight. I kind of wanted to see what it was like to not have anything to do, homework, school. So I let myself be bored for a couple months, but it was so much free time. You have to find different things to do, explore, or else you're just going to go crazy.
So what did you do to fill that time?
Well, I started by kind of exploring around my neighborhood, walking around. I like to shop a lot and thrift, so I found the local thrift stores. And then I ended up getting a camera halfway through the season. So I got really into photography in college, and I started doing that a bit. And then just getting to know my teammates, hanging out.
What did you take in college?
I took communications.
Nice. Same.
Yeah. Strategic communications.
Mine was just communications, and I declared in my last year because I needed to declare something.
Really?
I was I had all
well, it worked out.
Yeah, it was the easiest one. I just wanted to play lacrosse, so I was all right, I'll take that one. It's the easiest one to fulfill everything. So you're in Slovenia, going to thrift stores. Let's start on the style aspect of things.
Yeah.
So how different was it there in terms of just what you're used to being, from Canada and, being in the States for a little bit for school? How much of a shock was that when you went in there and saw just how much the style changed? Did it change much at all?
Honestly, no. It was kind of the same. I was a little surprised because I kind of expect European fashion is a little more, I don't know, I guess here is streetwear and there is kind of more sophisticated sometimes, but I feel like everyone has their own style individually anyways, so there was a mix of everything, and then you just have the people that just wear whatever they want to wear, so it's just the same everywhere.
Yeah.
But it was cool, just the different, I would say the materials of clothes was a lot better. I feel when I would find things, even thrifting, you would find really good silk or cotton materials that you probably wouldn't find here all the time if you're thrifting sometimes. Yeah. So that was a nice surprise. I guess they have better materials.
When it comes to basketball shoes, what's your favorite shoe?
Kobe's.
Yeah?
I grew up playing Kobe's all through high school.
Really?
I just always, and I kept them all. I still have them. They're just in a drawer in my room. It's just every Kobe I've worn.
Oh, that's cool though.
Yeah, those have been the best. And then I went to Utah and it was Under Armour school, so couldn't wear the Kobe's for a couple of years.
Yeah.
But
how hard is that when you're forced to wear a brand?
Sometimes it's kind of hard, especially when you already have a shoe you're comfortable in.
Yeah. So
having to try new shoes. I'd never worn an Under Armour shoe before college, so. But a lot of them are cool. They're nice. But getting back to the Kobe's, I have a pair. I have those ones now, so love them. It's cool trying out different colors too, because with school you get the school color shoes, so they don't always match what you're wearing.
Okay, that makes sense. When you look at you as a player. Mm-hmm. Who does your game resemble, or who did you take influence in terms of picking their game to make it part of yours?
Honestly, I don't know whose game I resembled to, but I always tried to I took what my dad would tell me, and I kind of feel a little bit after him a little bit, just because he's been so big in my development and growth that you can't help but kind of have similarities. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think I could say.
Do you watch a lot of basketball? Because you play a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes you might not want to watch it just because it's all right, I need a break from basketball. But how much basketball did you watch growing up, on TV, whether it be WNBA, NBA, or whatever?
Well, I didn't really, like, I would always watch my friends. Like, even now, like, my friends that are in the WNBA, like, people that I knew from college that are in the NBA, like, I'll always watch them, and it's just cool to kind of, like, see where they've gone. But growing up, I don't even think I watched that much TV. Like, I was just outside with my friends.
No, that totally makes sense. Do you have a favorite player?
I mean, I have a couple. I really like Asia Wilson. I feel like she's so good, but she's also so, like, exciting to watch. Like, she's so passionate about everything and, like, makes good plays and just super talented and athletic that I like watching her. And then because I watched, like, her and her team, like Chelsea Gray a lot, because, like, her point guard skills, her vision is great. And I think that's so cool. Like, just, like, pass first basketball is kind of like what I like to do, and, like, finding the right player at the right time. So I appreciate, like, seeing, like, really good point guards too.
So who is your favorite player that you played against?
That I played against?
Yeah. It's a burning question.
Yes, everyone wants to know. I feel like there's a couple. Because even, like, when I was younger, like, I played against, like, those big names now that we all know. But when I was younger, when we were all younger, like, you know, we're not at that potential level yet, but I really enjoyed playing against people who are, like, doing so well now. It's kind of like, oh, like, remember, like, when, like, it's kind of cool to be like, I played against you when you were younger.
Yeah. Have you ever had that moment, like, going to the court where you know, someone that you might have played in, you know, Team Canada, like U18 or something, and now you see them like, oh, we played each other once in Australia. Or whatever.
It's so cool because I feel like basketball is such a small world. Like, once you're kind of like, when you go on the same path or, like, you're going along the same teams or leagues, like, you start to see people that you know from, like, 5-10 years ago. Whether
it be your teammates, the coaching staff, or just the basketball fan, did you notice any kind of added emphasis on the community of basketball when you're overseas?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I really lean on my teammates because honestly, like, almost all my friends have come from playing on a basketball team or, like, somewhere I've been because of basketball. So I feel like that really is my world. Like, without basketball, I feel like my life would be completely different. I'd have completely different friends. So just being able to, like, go to a new spot, I'm always nervous. Like, everyone's always nervous. You don't know what's going to happen. But I always kind of lean on the fact that, like, we're all here to do the same thing, and maybe other people are nervous, and once you kind of get your feet on the ground running a bit, you make friends, good to go.
You are from a basketball family. You've played basketball growing up. You've played in university. You played professionally. How do you not let basketball define who you are? Are you okay with it defining you?
No, I wouldn't say. I don't like it defining who I am just because of all those things you said. Like, my whole family's around basketball. Like, mostly everyone knows me here because of basketball or because of my dad. So I kind of like being able to, like, have a different side of me that you kind of get to know by only knowing me. You can't just say you know me because I play basketball. But I've always, like, struggled with that question, like, trying to find who I was outside of basketball because, again, that's how everyone knew me. But I feel like piggybacking off of the last thing, like, with the friends, like, that's kind of like how I got close, and basketball helped me to get there. And then from there, I kind of found my individuality.
How much does moving away help you with that? Because, like, you're still young. You're off your first pro year. You're going into your second pro year. But when you're moving away from home, meeting these new people, going into new cultures, I mean, is that part of the experience of in the process of defining yourself? Would it be safer to say you're in that state?
Yeah, because I guess, you know, you go to new places. Nobody knows who you are at first. You could, like, you know, reinvent yourself with every new place, but it kind of also helps you to kind of figure out what you like, what you don't like, being around different people, like, who do you want to be around? Like, I always kind of say, like, your friends kind of define who you are. So kind of just, you know, trying new things, new activities, meeting new people kind of, like, shapes you into who you're going to be.
I agree. Like, I've moved around a little bit too, like, in Canada but, like, you know, from Quebec to Alberta, I worked and lived. And I always felt it was kind of like building blocks.
Yeah.
So each stop, I kind of discovered something about myself that I didn't know beforehand, whether it was, you know, food or an activity. when I was living in Alberta, hiking became a thing, right?
Yeah.
Where I never really hiked, but I'm like, you got all these beautiful mountains and
Same
stuff.
with Utah.
Right? Exactly. Utah would be the same way, right?
Yeah.
So was that like when you were in Utah, because that was your first year, right? You went to Utah for your first year?
Yeah, my first 3 years.
First 3 years. So what was the Utah experience like? Because that would have been the first time you like really went away from home for more, because I know you went to prep school in Ontario.
For a year.
Going from, Manitoba to Ontario is one thing, but I feel like going from Manitoba to Utah is a totally different animal.
Yeah, it was cool. I really liked Utah, just everything about it. I think the one thing I really remembered on my visit was how clean it was. Like, we'd even be like downtown, and I was like, this is downtown. Like, it's so pretty and clean. And I just really appreciated, like, you could do anything outdoorsy. Like, you could go hiking, or like you can go skiing, which I wasn't allowed to do as an athlete, but the possibility was nice. And yeah, when COVID hit, we would all hike. Like, me and my teammates would go for hikes to like get our conditioning in. And I used to hate hiking, hate walking, and that really like helped me kind of like find new things that I liked. And yeah, I was just in Vancouver the other week, and I did the grouse grind, and it was so hard. Okay, but I'm proud of myself.
And that's great. I feel like that came up. We went to Vancouver a while back, and everybody says the grouse grind, and part of me is like, I'm on vacation. I
know. I really didn't want to, but someone was like, I think you could do it in like this time, and I was like, okay, I kind of want to see if I can.
Yeah.
I didn't, but it was so fun.
It's your competitive nature.
It really was.
That's cool. So when you go to Utah, 3 years there, and then you decide you're transferring to Wake Forest. Mm-hmm. Before we get to the reason why, how interesting or difficult was the transfer process?
For me, it was really hard because like going into college, no one expects like, oh, I'm going to transfer like 2 years here and then I'm out. Like I really was like, I'm ready to like be here all 4 years, make my friends, settle down, and like really be in the like experience. So like for me, it was a really big struggle of even deciding to transfer because I already had like a really good base with my teammates and my friends, and I was really comfortable there. But like ultimately I kind of had to like remember why I was even like there, which was for basketball, and then kind of like the goals I wanted in the future. So I kind of had to look at it a bit more like as a logical choice rather than like go with like what I really wanted, like family, friends, all that, like comfort.
So what was the logic behind it? So how does the opportunity come up that Wake Forest becomes an option, and what was the idea behind the transfer? Like, how did it improve your situation?
Well, Wake Forest only became an option like once I like put my name in the portal. Like, had no clue where I was gonna go.
So you're just putting your name in the portal, just kind of throwing it out there, hoping someone picks up on it.
Really, yeah. I know like now like kind of people might have an idea where they want to go when they transfer, but when I just put my name in and I was like, somewhere good. Yeah. But kind of just what led me to transfer was just basketball. Like just kind of for what I wanted, like going into my career and setting myself up for pros. Like I knew I wasn't going to be able to like get that at Utah anymore. Like maybe that's what it was looking like as a freshman, sophomore. But kind of my third year there, I was like, okay, I don't think this is going to pan out how it needs to for like my future. So had to like choose to transfer. But once I put my name in the portal, I kind of have to like sit back and see what schools kind of reach out. I did reach out to some schools that I was also interested in, and actually Wake Forest was one of them. Okay. So maybe I kind of did that too, but yeah, it all worked out in the end.
So when you were going to Utah, you're obviously good friends with Emily Potter. Mm-hmm. How much of an influence was that, just knowing that someone had been there at Utah? Did that kind of open the door to the Utah opportunity? It was
a comfort thing too. Like I really liked that they already had a relationship with Canadians and kind of like our style of play with the national team. And I know like on top of Em going there was also like a couple other, like Paige Crozen had gone there as well. One of the Plouffe sisters had been there. Yeah. And then when I came,
2/3 of the 3-on-3 team. Well, it was 4, but
yeah. And then when I came, another freshman who became one of my best friends was from Montreal. And then there was already a Canadian there from Montreal. And then a year later, we got a transfer from Montreal. So, and then we had Denisha Provo from the eastern side, Nova Scotia, I want to say, yeah.
Like the Maritimes, yeah.
Maritimes. So It was like a full Canadian. We could have done like a full Canadian starting lineup there. It was really fun.
How much does that help when you're going to a school? I mean, because you got to think too, right? You're 18 years old when you're going away for the first time.
Yeah, I was 17.
So to have other Canadians there, and you're so far away from what you know, how much did that just help? Did you form a bond there kind of off the top just because of that, the shared Canadian nationality?
For sure. I feel like it's just like also a comfort thing, like knowing that there's people kind of from your country who are going through the same things of being away from home. Like when COVID hit, a lot of us, like, we stayed and then we kind of just went up with hiking. We did like workouts together outside. We picked up crafts and it was just fun. Like, it's a comfort thing. You build a stronger bond, and it was nice to have them.
That's really cool. So growing up in Winnipeg, you went to Vincent Massey, right, for high school?
Yeah.
Your dad, a accomplished basketball player in his own right, and one of the big, head coaches for Manitoba, technical director, I believe is the official title, right, for the basketball Manitoba. So what was that like when you're so ingrained in it? Because not only, are you a star within the Manitoba basketball community, but your family's so ingrained in it from an organizational level. Did you find that helped you in any way, or was it in some ways maybe a little bit challenging just having, your family so close and so hands-on with the program?
I took it more as like it was a good thing, just because like my dad had kind of been everywhere I wanted to be, so it was easy for me to ask him questions. He would help me, kind of like mentor me, and he was always my coach growing up. So I really liked it. I don't see it as a bad thing at all. I thought it kind of just helped mold my career, if anything. He was always kind of like my spokesperson, my biggest cheerleader, my coach, biggest critic. Actually, no, I was my own biggest critic. But I think it really helped. I wouldn't have any complaints, or I wouldn't have wanted it another way.
And you are fortunate in that sense. I mean, your dad's played pro. Didn't he have a tryout with the Indiana Pacers?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, here's a guy.
I should know this.
But here's a guy that's been there, done that, not only as a player, but also as a coach developing others. I mean, how much of an advantage is that when you have someone that knows the game so well and knows you so well as a person to help you develop your game? I mean, do you think you are where you are if you don't have your father there to help you along the way?
Probably not. No, just because I started so young, and like he knows me so well. Like you said, like he was really there every step of the way, and like having like his expertise like all the time, like 24/7. Whether he was like my dad or my coach, like he was always there to like kind of help coach me, teach me. So I feel like having him there definitely like has helped me be where I am today. So I'm definitely really thankful for him.
And for the rest of your family, like what's the basketball involvement for the rest of your family?
Like my immediate family?
Yeah.
Everyone. Like my mom, she was always like took us places to games. She was always at every game, like loudest parent in the stands. I remember when I was younger, one of my two teammates' moms, they like put on their own little kind of like skills clinic, and we used to do that for like an hour once a week when I was younger too. And then growing up, because I'm the oldest sibling, so my brother and my sister, as they were growing up, they both play basketball too. So really a basketball family. Got the court on the driveway and everything.
When it comes to, like, now you're out of the country, we're talking time differences, we're talking cultural differences. How much do you lean on a circle of support, and who makes up that circle?
I definitely lean on it a lot, just because time difference is hard, but also with all the free time, it's kind of like if you're not doing something, like even though I tried to find stuff to do, you kind of just want to talk to friends and family too. So that was like something I relied on, but the time difference was hard because there was only like 2 points of the day where I could talk to people, and it would be like right when I woke up because they'd be going to sleep, or like when I was going to sleep and they were like midday or starting their day. And it was kind of bad for my sleep schedule, honestly, because you want to keep talking. You're like, but I got to go to bed. But like they're just starting their day, so they have all the time in the day. So I really had to be like, okay, got to go to bed. But the people that kind of made up my circle would definitely be like my family, like especially my sister. Like I'm pretty sure she would call me like every day, but she would also not take into consideration the time change. So she'd be calling me at like 3-4 a.m. and I'd be like, Tana, like I'm asleep. And then some of my best friends, and just also like people that I kind of played with in college or that also played pro, and we're all on the same kind of time schedule, like just people that are in the same boat as you understand, and like you can just kind of have common similarities. So a lot of my friends are made up of, you know, high school best friends, college best friends, and pro players.
Nice. Aside from family and friends, obviously, what did you miss most about home?
Tim Hortons.
Really?
I did. I think that's like the first thing I got. Like I love the Timbits.
Well, I was going to say, what's your order?
It's chocolate Timbits.
Chocolate Timbits.
Yeah. And then we don't have Chipotle, but Chipotle is like my all-time favorite like restaurant kind of.
Okay.
So I was really excited to, when we would go to Toronto for national team camps, I was like, Chipotle. First free day, I'm going to Chipotle. Yeah, it would definitely be the food. I like food.
So when you're going, say, on the national team, you've represented Canada at a few different levels. What is that like when you get to put on like the red and the maple leaf and have Canada across your chest?
It's definitely like the best feeling. I feel like I've really made it my basketball like aspirations were always to like be on the national team, be on an Olympic team. So that's kind of what definitely fuels the basketball side for me. So anytime I get to like be invited to camp, you know, potentially make a team, I always am really honored and proud, and it's really fun, especially with the friends you make too, because a lot of these girls, like my first camp, I think I was 14, and some of them are still like, we're on the same level, like same pathway on the senior national team now. So just having those friendships from like 9-10 years ago and growing through them and like seeing everybody a couple times a year at camp, it's been really fun.
Yeah, no kidding. When you look at the makeup of those teams, it's not often we see a Manitoban or a Winnipegger on the roster. I mean, you're one of the very few female athletes to play basketball for Team Canada, or just athletes in general. Do you take a little bit of extra pride in that as a representative of Winnipeg and Manitoba, especially knowing that you know it's so ingrained in your family? Oh,
for sure. It's definitely like a really like proud moment, just being able to kind of like put on for the city. You know, me and Emily, we always joke we're like the Toba girlies. So it's always fun to like, you know, be a part of the group, especially when there's not many from our province. So that's always like a nice aspect.
Yeah. Are you always having to like sell or defend Winnipeg? When Emily was on the show, she was like,
it's always, because everyone loves to hate on Winnipeg just because like, oh, Winnipeg. I'm like, no, Winnipeg is great, especially when you have your friends, like friendly Manitoba. It's for the friends.
Yeah. So
I always have to protect Manitoba.
Well, I always say people that usually talk down on Winnipeg and Manitoba have probably not been to Winnipeg.
They all say that. I was like, have you been? They're like, no. And I'm like, then you can't say anything.
Yeah. And then when you get here, it's like that pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
It was so nice. The Exchange District where we
That's
are right
true.
now. I mean, first time I came to Winnipeg and I saw the Exchange District, I don't think anybody told me about it. I was just like, we need to talk more about this area. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's cool. I don't even come downtown very often just because it's kind of far away from my house.
Yeah.
But I do like the area, especially like during the day. And there's so many different things to do. And Osborne too. Some good parts.
I lived in Osborne for a little bit and I really enjoyed it out there. It's got everything you want, right? You got some coffee shops, you got some restaurants, some bars. I mean, and all in a very concentrated strip.
Yeah.
And I always found Osborne to be very creative. So you were talking about photography earlier, and that doesn't surprise me because I feel like there's a real creative energy in Winnipeg particularly.
Yeah.
When you were going into the photography and, you know, you picked that up in school and then you bought the camera when you were playing in Slovenia, what's the type of photography that you're getting into?
Well, my take on photography is more to like, it's more of a memory aspect, just because I really like to like look back on a photo and kind of like remember the day or like the moment behind it. So I like photographing like candid moments or like with friends, or like if there's like traveling, like whenever we travel, like to bring it just for like the memory aspect. So I would say more of like a candid people type of photography.
So where has basketball taken you? You don't have to list off every
I was
place,
like,
but like in terms of like some of the cooler places that you've been that you probably would not have gone if it weren't for basketball.
Definitely, I would say Australia. It's probably one of the farthest places too for the Commonwealth Games. I think in like 2018. Yeah. So that was really cool, and that was, I think, the longest I've ever flown for anything for basketball related.
How long was that flight?
It's like 14 or 16 hours. It was terrible, but I had the whole road to myself. So I was like, this is a nice surprise.
Because no one wants to fly that 14, 15
hour
flight.
So true. So true. I mean, I've been to, Canada places, Toronto and Edmonton are usually the spots for camps. Sometimes BC, which is starting to like be a spot now, which we really like. And Zaragoza, Spain, was a spot for one of the championship years for Team Canada. Mm-hmm. And probably just like within the states too, like getting to travel across all the states, just because like I played in the Pac-12 and the ACC. So West Coast states, East Coast states, got to see a lot of, the U.S.
You said your dream is not only to represent Canada, but to represent Canada at the Olympics. Did you watch the Olympics this year?
I did. Of course, I have to support the girls.
Yeah. How much more motivation do you have? Because you were there training with them this year too,
yeah.
Right? So you know these girls very well. You helped them prepare to where they got to. Mm-hmm. So how much more motivation do you have now after going through the camp process and then seeing people that you played with and shared the court with in those colors, in the Canada gear, competing at the Olympics?
It's a lot of motivation for sure, just because like being so close, like what it takes, and like kind of like what else you need to do to kind of get there for next time. So I'm really excited for the next Olympics, and like now that I kind of know more of what it takes and like I'm more familiar with the girls and the coaches, I feel like it's just more like fuel to the fire and like kind of just like grinding and always keeping that goal ahead of me for like the next 4 years.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's crazy because there's so much lead up, regardless of the sport, right? The quadrennial or whatever, where it's like, okay, new year, and you kind of have that 4-year idea of development and stuff like that. But if you miss it, like it's got to be tough too, because now you got to wait another 4 years, and you really only have 2 or 3 cycles, maybe 4 if you're lucky, right?
I know, it kind of sucks. Yeah, you see all like I guess now that I'm being on the cut side of the Olympics, I saw more of like kind of like almost Olympian like on social media. Mm-hmm. People kind of like sharing their stories of like how much it takes and like all like the time and effort they put to like be right there but not quite there. So I see that side now too, and I'm like, okay, next time I don't want to be on that side anymore.
Yeah. So now you look ahead. So you've completed university. You're now playing pro, going into your second year. You've talked about wanting to play on the Olympic team. What are some of the other goals that you want to accomplish here as your professional career really only starts to take off?
Well, this will be my first year playing in a Euro Cup league, so that was a big kind of like goal I wanted to accomplish. So hopefully this year goes well, and that's a great accomplishment. And kind of from there, like I want to succeed wherever I go. So like Euro Cup, Euro League, like if I ever got the chance to be in the WNBA, like these are all amazing goals that like would be awesome to reach, but kind of I just want to keep improving with basketball. So wherever that can take me, and then being on the Olympic team, I'm just ready to like any new challenge. And
I'll finish with this. Not like dreams in terms of like career goals and stuff like that, but what is something that might not even be possible right now, but that you wish you could do as a basketball player?
Like outside of basketball?
It could be in basketball, like in terms of, is there something now, to give you an example?
Okay, yeah.
3 years ago, there was no professional basketball team in Winnipeg.
Right.
Right? So if you told me, even go back like before the CBL came in, to say like, oh, I would love to have been a sideline reporter for professional basketball in Canada, it just wasn't there. Mm-hmm. But then fast forward out of nowhere, essentially, it's like, oh, a league pops up and now I get to do that, but I couldn't even have dreamed of that as a kid. Is there something like that where it's like, oh, this would be cool to do? I don't know if it'll ever come to fruition, but like, I would love the opportunity to do blank.
I feel like maybe along those lines, like starting the women's league or like having a women's basketball team. I know like even me and a couple of my other friends have always talked about like, oh, like they need to get a women's pro league, and that'd be so cool. But like if we're talking about like just making anything happen, that would be cool, just to be a founder or like create the league, or within Canada even. Yeah, that'd be cool.
If a professional basketball team came to Winnipeg, would you
like a WNBA team or
just
like any professional team?
Like a CBL version, but like the WCBL, we'll call it for lack of a term. Yeah. But yeah, if there was an opportunity to play professionally in Winnipeg, would that be something that excites you?
Yeah, that'd be so cool. Like, who doesn't want to play at home or just in their home country? Like, it's something that doesn't get to happen very often. So if the opportunity came, I'd be really interested. Yeah.
Have you talked to any of the guys on this, like the Winnipeggers that play for the Sea Bears?
A little bit, like just about their experiences and stuff. And it seems really cool, like having the opportunity to do this. They all seem like it's like positive vibes.
Is there any value to that where not only that you get to train with them, because you train with them anyway, right? Like
Yeah.
if they're coming home in the summer, but when you get to also train with these guys, but also like, have you been to games, any games for
Yeah.
the Sea Bears?
Yeah, I was at a couple, and then last summer too.
Yeah. So when you get to see the product, right? So you like, because you get to see yourself play and your teammates and stuff like that. But when you're training with other people, and then in training, essentially, you get to go watch them play.
Yeah.
Do you get any benefit of that in terms of picking out how, oh, I see what they're doing in training,
Yeah.
and I just saw it in practice on the court. Like, does it give you any kind of motivation or kind of validation
Yeah.
of what I'm doing is helping?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like just seeing, everyone's hard work pay off and like them happy, because it's always like exciting to play in front of the Winnipeg crowd, and the Winnipeg crowd like surprised me too. They all show up and they all show out, and I think even that's the biggest thing. I feel like that fuels everybody, and like they're so happy and proud to like play in front of people who like appreciate like what they do and all their hard work, and you can't like help but just enjoy seeing that.
I'm stealing Emily Potter's idea, but we have to start a petition to get Team Canada's women's team to have a camp in Winnipeg.
Oh my God, yeah.
Play an exhibition game at Canada Life Center.
That'd be fun. And we've already seen the Sea Bears Nation and what they can do. So they would come out for this.
If you had a game here,
Yeah.
I am very confident in saying it would sell out Canada Life Center.
Ooh, okay, well, this needs to happen.
Yeah, I would be hard pressed to think if Team Canada's here with Winnipeggers on the team playing whoever, like
Yeah.
whatever, USA would be awesome, but it could be Australia, whoever. I think
It'd be so fun.
people would show out for that for sure.
Okay, well, now we need to make it happen.
Well, let's make it happen.
Yes.
But best of luck in Spain
Thank you.
in your second year, and bring back something nice when you come back.
Okay, I will.
Thanks for
Thank
making
you.
this happen. I
Thanks for
appreciate it,
having
Niyah.
me.